for want of a better phrase, a zombie apocalypse on the outside of the walls ain't good for business.
I'm just going to interrupt this for 1 second.
If I could get to the end of my thought,
they're still talking.
I came on this podcast on my holiday, right? I can go if you want.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think he made the right decision. I don't think he made the right decision in lying to her, but in terms of pulling her out of there, yeah. I don't really know how you could think them killing her to get what they needed out of the messenger out of her brain. Like, I don't even know how you could think that was ever going to work, to be honest. You've got a bunch of surgeons that when the outbreak happened, gonna be what, in their mid-20s, early 20s. They're not experienced. They've got no medical experience. They aren't scientists. They've
not operated on a person in 20 years, you know.
And also look at the Fireflies' track record. Everywhere they go, Fireflies are dead. They're not very good at staying alive. What fridge were they going to put a brain in? They've got nothing. They weren't prepped. This surgeon, I've come to learn, his name's Jerry, right? And he. I know you're laughing, but try, tell me I'm wrong. You just complained that they didn't have a fridge. How is a 20-year-old, like, when the outbreak happens? How is a 20-year-old, I assume, medical student? How are they gonna have so much brain surgery experience by that age when everything has gone wrong and there's nobody around anymore? So how were they ever going to get the experience together to be able to perform something that is banking on killing their only specimen that they have just to be able to make it work? And also we already know that there hasn't been a cure for that sort of fungal infection, if you want to call it that, at all. So it doesn't add up that would ever work. So you've got Joel that's we're led to believe that Joel thinks it can work. We're led to believe that Ellie thinks it can work, but also Marlene, she sort of believes it will work. But I just don't think they're prepped and they're not strong. And also they're a terrorist organization in the eyes of Fedra. So how are they going to ever distribute it? And also there's so many people in the world now that are looting and killing, and they probably love it. You're not going to get them to adopt it. So how are you ever going to eradicate it with one single specimen, hoping that you get it right the first time? And by what I can tell, Jerry's not written anything down, and he's not got anyone to take over from him, right?
He's got a daughter he's got to think about.
Yeah, but if you are the, let's say you are the only neurosurgeon left on the face of the planet, and you're in the apocalypse. Who's his prodigy? Who's he training to be able to take over? When all of this, how are you going to replicate his work if he dies?
Let me tell you. Let me jump in.
There's loads of stuff that I just think doesn't add up. And for Joel, his options were: this thing is definitely gonna kill Ellie, and it might not work, or I can definitely save her and save my world. So to me, it's clearly the right decision.
Can I just preface this and say that ultimately I agree with Matt in that Joel makes the right decision. This is some of the most outlandish arguments I've ever heard. Where are they going to put the brain?
Outlandish and based in reality, mate.
Where's the fridge? You literally just said that.
Yeah.
We've got running water. We've got electric. Did you not watch episode 3? I'm sure they can store this thing wherever they need to store it. But
I didn't spot a fridge once.
All right, okay. But we can assume that fridges exist in this world, and you know, electrical
refrigeration.
I'm not talking about refrigeration isn't a thing anymore. I'm talking about the Fireflies don't have the means to be able to transport it and store it safely even if they do manage to do it.
But on your point about does he have the knowledge, I'm not saying that my theory is like wholesale, this is what's happening, because you do make a good point actually that 20 years have passed. How many surgeries have they performed since? They would have been young at the time. But like we already saw, I think it was episode 7 in the flashback episode with like Riley and Ellie, that there are these Fedra camps where they're training, people primarily for military purposes and primarily for things like that. But who's to say they haven't got like a doctor's program where they're meticulously going over like the textbooks and history books in order to train people up in these things. Like I can
plenty of sample brains to practice other things. Abundance of brains.
And obviously, whereas like obviously in our current day, you've got people trying to focus on like curing cancer and like skin disease and stuff like that. I imagine that in this world, everyone is looking for a cure. And that is what they're wholly dedicated to.
Yeah, but do you really think that if the Fireflies came up with something and they told Fedra it was a cure, that Fedra would even they would burn it to the ground?
Of course, but you have to try. Like both sides are surely trying, And
they didn't give Ellie a choice.
Well, this is the other big debate, isn't it?
I think that's why this game is so good. Is it because it generates debate, and there will be people that say that Joel made the wrong decision because he put his personal feelings toward one person in the way of all of humanity having a chance to recover from this awful worldwide virus or infection that's caused this outbreak. Obviously, it's a real shame what would happen to Ellie, or eventually, obviously,
a real shame.
But it would be. But you've got to also look at it from the other angle of if that would have happened and they did find a cure, that would have benefited the whole of humanity. So it's really interesting.
Even if they did find a cure, I don't think they ever would have got it distributed. They never would have got very far with it. It would have been seen as like chemical warfare by Fedra, and it would have been destroyed. Like it never would have got anywhere. And
so what you're saying then, Matt, is that the entire arc of the series is pointless because his goal is to get. Yeah, it's redundant.
No, but it's because the whole the series isn't about whether he can get her there or not. The series is about his relationship after his daughter dies.
That's definitely the heart of the series, but the objective, the A to B.
If you were talking like A to B journey practical parts of the series, then yeah, the whole thing is pointless. But Joel was led to believe that Ellie was they would have
some blood.
They would have known right from the get-go. So Joel was used as a vehicle to get her there.
Yeah,
and
he was hired.
Yeah, but he was hired, and in the beginning, he probably would have been like, cool, well, yeah, whatever. But in terms of like as the relationship develops, like that's the story of the series, like as far as I'm concerned.
If you just take that away for a moment and just think about what the series wants you to think, and the show and the game and the story want you to think, and you take away all about the distribution and Fedra not believing all that kind of stuff, which is way into the future, and it's conjecture, it's plausible, it's
like hypotheticals, isn't
hypothetical,
it?
yeah, sorry, Aaron, I was searching for that word, it just couldn't quite get to my tongue, thank you. It's all hypothetical. If we just take that out for a moment, let's assume that Ellie has the cure in her brain, right? Let's assume that this could save humanity. If you view it in that way, do you still think Joel makes the right decision at that point?
Yeah, because you need to make the distinction of who's the decision for, and the decision that Joel makes is for him, and so he makes a choice to you got to he's already lost his whole world. His world's already imploded and ended, and he just kept going. He just kept going, probably because it's all he's ever known. Working on construction. Just keep going. Bills.
He says that in the episode, doesn't he, to Ellie at the end?
Exactly. He says
just keep going. Yeah.
You just got to keep going, and eventually you find something new to fight for, right?
Gotta find something to fight for.
Exactly. Is that Joel there?
That was Game Joel. I was going.
I was going to say, is that Troy Baker? But generally,
coming for your job, Troy.
Coming from his perspective, yes, of course he made the right decision. Coming from Fedra's perspective, I think he probably made the right decision because they would have wanted to have a crack I don't think this is the other thing that sort of confused me a bit. Is like the Fireflies are so like Fedra didn't do it. Like Fedra didn't cause. Well, they maybe caused like the governments and stuff. Maybe caused the end of the world through complacency and neglect and letting certain things happen when they were being told. Just in the world that like if you keep doing this, this will happen. So yeah, probably got some responsibility there. But in terms of how like I can't imagine a world where they wouldn't want to get back to full-on capitalism, like making loads of money, living in big houses and all that stuff, rather than gated off QZs. I can't imagine like that would be their end goal.
We're so far away.
That's what I was just going to say. We get back into hypothetical territory again. We are so far removed from what actually happens in this series and the episode.
I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the broader context. I'm talking about each different individual perspective. So I can't imagine a world where Fedra wouldn't want to find a cure. I can't imagine a world where the Fireflies would be listened to by Fedra. So what the Fireflies are doing is completely inconsequential.
You have to try. You can't say, why bother making this cure because we're not going to get listened to anyway. Oh, I know, because there's people I love in this world.
We won't bother,
yeah. Do you know what I mean?
You're making the assumption that they think that they're the only ones that can do it. Like,
I mean, they're the only ones with a girl who they know is immune.
Yeah, which they kept secret from Fedra because they thought they thought that she would be killed. But
you see Fedra like twice in the whole series. I don't know why they're like a non-presence to me. Like other than the first episode, they're not.
You've got
really
to take them
around.
into account because they're running the world. They're running the country.
Well, they're not. They're running certain sections.
They're running the country at the moment,
and they're easily overrun. I mean, if you want to get into the hypothetical, because in the episode with Sam and Henry, they're easily overrun by the population. So, how powerful are they really?
I'm not saying they're powerful, but I'm saying like they're probably a far better body to work on a cure. As someone that just mentioned that they probably got doctors' camps and running training things and doing a lot of that. So rather than some people in an abandoned hospital trying their luck with something, why don't we actually go and do something more controlled?
They're definitely better equipped for it. But do you know why they're the ones that aren't making a cure? Because they run the world now, or they like to think they do, and they're not interested in a cure. They don't want things to change. The people that are in Fedra.
Of course you would. Of course you would. If you were a government, which
this is the Empire versus the rebels, Matt. Like this is the Star Wars tale as old as time. Good versus evil. Fedra are the bad guys.
No, this is the saving of humanity. This is the saving of the mass population, so they can keep going and doing what they're doing. And obviously, for want of a better phrase, a zombie apocalypse on the outside of the walls ain't good for business.
I'm just going to interrupt this for 1 second.
If I could get to the end of my thought,
I'm just gonna,
it will
go.
It will
for a minute.
So from Fedra's from Firefly's point of view, he didn't make the right decision. From Fedra's point of view, he probably did, because she's still now out there and they've got a chance of actually still doing something. And from Joel's point of view, he made the right decision because look,
they're still talking.
I came on this podcast on my holiday, right? I can go if you want.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't honestly. Look how red I've gone. I honestly don't disagree with anything Matt said. I'm just
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. What are you up to?
I'm fascinated by Nathan's call now. Anyway, but
I've got to go. They've stopped now. Okay, see you later. So I just thought I'd just take a personal call. Let's just have just a little break in the.
Have a breather.
Okay,